Alright, part two of this clusterfuck. Pardon me while I close the door to my office. One of these days I'm going to learn angles that are flattering and don't show the waddle that really isn't that bad but looks awful on camera. There's a chin here, I swear. I can't even do the Aaron thing. I don't even have enough of a waddle to do the Aaron thing and make my face look all grotesque, but it's just that angle. Angle makes my face look fat, even though my face is too skinny. And it's skinny enough to the point that relatives, I don't really see relatives anymore, but like family friends are like, "Are you okay? Have you lost weight?" I'm like, "Well, I don't think so." Anyway, I'm gonna continue right off. This was what VEDA day 15 and 16 part two. I believe I had finished answering Clay's second question, and just, or at least, you know, basically, there's a lot more books that I'd like to own. Question number three: which magazine named It Geeks is your favorite, or was until they screwed it up? I I don't know, man. Um, I guess the only magazine I read that's aimed at geeks, right? Well, on a regular basis when I can afford it, is Doctor Who magazine. I don't really read gaming magazines anymore. I used to read PSN, which was a PlayStation centric magazine, partially because they had cool covers, and partially because they gave away like lid stickers for the PS1 and um, memory cards labels and all kinds of stuff. Basically, if you throw things at me, I'm like, but other than that, the only magazines I really buy on a or on a semi-regular basis at all. Other than that, every once in a while I'll buy Cosplay Enthusiast. Um, just depends on whether I remember it's a thing. Um, Popular Mechanics, Popular Science, Astronomy. Sometimes I'll buy Archaeology. Basically, when it comes down to magazines, I don't really gravitate to. I mean, sometimes I'll buy Fangoria or Rumorg, um, but I don't. More often than not, 9 times out of 10, I'll buy a science magazine or something because I feel like my brain is stagnating, and I already buy a large quantity of sci-fi and fantasy and horror books, or I find ways to consume that kind of media elsewhere. So I don't know. Sometimes it's nice to sit on my break when I'm not having raging fucking headaches to just sit there and absorb, you know, knowledge. And so sometimes I get what is it? Scientific, that wasn't, is it Scientific American Mind? I don't know, but one of the ones that actually focuses specifically on the brain and different kinds of things because, pardon me, as an epileptic, it kind of behooves me to pay attention to what's going on in brain science, neuroscience, and, you know, hearing the latest treatments regarding psychological ailments is also a good thing for somebody who suffers from anxiety and depression and gosh knows what else, because I'm not diagnosed for anything. Moving on. When you were out blah, blah, blah. Let's try that again. You guys get to see this firsthand because I can't edit anything. When you were outwardly goth, as opposed to just having a goth soul, did you manage to go to any goth concerts or gatherings, and do you have any good memories from the experience? I did not get to. Like, I mean, one of the big things when I was younger, I mean, I would have loved to have gone to see Nine Inch Nails live. Um, yeah, I didn't really get to do any of that. I mean, I went to see Metallica, and they're not goth, but I mean, that's the closest thing I got to that kind of culture where, because I mean, I just zoned right into all that stuff anyway. But no, I never really, I was too much of an outcast, you know, especially in high school. I was just so thrilled that people were leaving me the fuck alone that I just kind of reveled in the fact that nobody was telling me I couldn't be this way, and like middle school and elementary school, where I was told that many times that I was wrong and that I was being bullied for things because I was me and that I should conform. And I got told that several times. And I've told some of you this story, and you can see it's making me uncomfortable because I'm starting to move around. Yeah. But no, I never really got to do any of those kind of gathering kind of things. It's like I have a friend, Aaron, who I used to hang out with. and she was my goth friend. So she's not even, fuck the goth part, she's my friend. She was my friend. She was one of my only friends in high school, really. I had a few. Adriana, Lana, you're not watching this, but I was kind of friends with my old friend Jake Shoop, but that was kind of transient. I never really, I don't know. I was never good at friendship. Probably because I had so few examples of how to be a friend to somebody that, you know, I didn't hang at those kind of gatherings. So, yeah. As an aside, I know you said I'm not just having a goth soul. I refer to myself as a quasi goth because about 90% of the time, my clothing, when I'm not in a costume, is comprised of black, black, and black. I do wear colorful shirts mostly because of the nerd culture stuff. I bought them for the things, which is why I hate pink and yellow and orange. But I will not stop wearing them because it'll deprive me of, different characters. Like I love Miss Piggy. I love Muppets. I fucking love Muppets. Maybe I'll talk about TV shows that aren't Doctor Who once. But I love Muppets. So Miss Piggy, she gets a pass on the pink thing. Um, Jigglypuff, Jigglypuff gets a pass because it's fucking cute. It's a vindictive little son of a bitch. Okay, so that's everything from this. I'm going to touch briefly on the Titanic video as well. Um, the reason I have such a fascination for it is that I am a very empathic person. I'm usually a good judge of people, and I can relate to people on different levels because I have a very active imagination, and that combined with a very active emotional center, I put myself in people's places a lot, which is why you'll find I think I'm pretty sympathetic to everybody's woes in the Discord, um, because either I have faced them myself or I just have a gut understanding because I have the ability to put myself in their shoes. And this sounds like something that should be commonplace, but there are some people who just can't do that or choose not to because it's hard, you know? So when it comes down to the Titanic, they were the pure technical aspects of the ship that fascinate me. There's the time period. It was just a crazy time period. Um, all of the changes that have been affected as a direct result of the Titanic's sinking had huge repercussions that are being felt today. So that's another kind of aspect. And then there's the human aspect. When I saw those National Geographic layouts, I think the first one I saw, it was 85. And when I saw that first layout in 85, it showed one of the really iconic pictures, which was the child's shoe lying on the seabed. And then there's another one with like a doll. And it's just crazy to think, for me, I kind of I attach to it also on that emotional level, which is part of why I said I would never be able to go down to it, like beyond the fear of being crushed to death. Um, the emotional kind of cachet that it has. I mean, it's a grave site. No matter what people say, no matter how long the bodies have been disintegrated or eaten away, it's a grave site. It is a mass grave site. Terrible, terrible things happen there, which is why sometimes when I'm watching people do even gameplay videos or I'm doing gameplay where I have to be underwater, there's a part of me that gets really fucking freaked out because I have had nightmares in amongst my studies. And I mean, I've studied other shipwrecks as well. Marine archaeology is a thing for me. I really enjoy all aspects of archaeology, but marine archaeology is definitely a thing. Um, but yeah, I've had nightmares where I was one of the people in third class inside the ship as it sank and I suffocated. And the worst part about that is that because I know the people's names, because I know the layout of the ship very well, for at least when it comes down to a blue, you know what I mean, a blueprint. That's the word. Sorry, I'm still really headachy. But from a blueprint perspective, I know the ship very well. So it's kind of like I know I have, based on pictures, a good idea of what the steerage class cabins and corridors looked like. and I have various recountings in my head because I've read so much material, so many volumes of material. It's quite real to me. So that was kind of the, you know, I just wanted to give a little more clarification, especially to Clay, because I know you don't connect with it on the same way I do, and I don't expect people to. I get really strongly attached to things, and I will be like a dog with a bone. I will hold on to that, and I will research every aspect of something. Like for an example, when I first read Jurassic Park and then saw a movie was coming out, I actually went, and as a math deficient person, I want you to understand the magnitude of this. I went to the library and got out like 3 or 4 different books on the mathematics behind chaos theory, and I tried to figure it out. Like I tried to sit down with those books and understand it because that's what I do. I'm a person, I like knowing things. I like knowing things. I like knowing how they work. I like tearing things apart and getting down to it. And I'm an idea person. So in the end, everything just has a kind of logic for me. And despite, the kind of polar opposite of being as emotional as I am, logic is a like core guiding principle for me. So there are often times where my emotion will not be trumped by my or will not be trumped by my logic. And then there are other times where I am stone cold and you wouldn't even guess that I am one of those kind of feeling people because my logic is just there and I will cling to it, you know. So yeah. I think that Raise the Titanic was an interesting movie. The Unsinkable Molly Brown, if you're looking for a fun kind of interesting look at Molly Brown, who anybody who's had anything to do with the Titanic or who's even looked into the Titanic will often have heard of her over anything else. Really funny movie. Um, when it comes to James Cameron's Titanic, I was kind of a pain in the ass. Got me to come see it with her 2 or 3 times. The first time, I tore that shit apart. There are so many historical inaccuracies, even back then and even now. Every time I see something, some new piece of evidence come to light, or some new theories that make more and more sense based on further dives to the site, it annoys me. I did marvel at no, actually, the first time I just sat and watched it. The second time I tore it apart. The second time I tore it apart. Then she took me to see it for the third time because she was attached to the story of Jack and Rose, and I was attached to the technical aspects of the fact that so many people died, and they were real. They were real. They were people. This was a thing that happened. The fact that you can see some people who don't know that this was an actual tragedy that happened blows my fucking mind. But at the same time, I'm not really surprised. I'm just disappointed. Um. So yeah. I don't know if anyone's interested in finding out more about the Titanic or wants to sit down and have a talk with me about it, let me know. I can guide you to resources. I can guide you to definitive books to look for, modern ones and ones that you may have to hunt down even just at the library. I can also discuss films and yeah. So my head is killing me. I've already taken pills and this is as good as it gets. I still have 2 more videos to make, and I have to wait for this one to upload first because my phone just doesn't have enough memory to record more than 1 video at a time. Because, yeah, and the computer, the quality on the laptop for video just hasn't gotten any better. And that's considering that this isn't all that great. Ooh, tilting my head did not feel good, man. Jeez. Okay, so I'm going to try and get this to upload. Hopefully it'll only take the hour that the last one did-ish. And then I think for the next one, like I said, I'm going to talk about my work stuff that happened and the anxiety things. And I think my next thing after that will be something I kind of wanted to discuss in direct relation to emotional security and coping mechanisms that I have, which also plays into the work thing. So yeah, thanks for listening to me ramble again. I'm sorry this is taking so long, but this headache, it's just days and days and days, and I'm just not sleeping properly. Even well, sleeping worse than I normally do, which is already not enough. And I'm not eating enough because it's just ravaging me because I'm getting a lot of vertigo. Like I left the pills, but I'm having to take Gravol to keep me from feeling dizzy and from making my stomach nauseous. So yeah, hopefully this finds everyone else well. If you've left any questions on the first video, I will probably address them as soon as I can. I just wanted to try and rapid fire get these up so I'm caught up. So I might address them tomorrow. So don't hesitate on any of these videos that I'm trying to bang up tonight to put questions. Just expect that I will have to answer them tomorrow night after work. And hopefully I won't be an incoherent jackass. So yeah, wish me luck. See you later.